Te song sang je gen je ngo wo nye, rang sen je ge ngong song dong ze, sa ve la me ya la ge wa de. Good morning, everyone. So now we're going into the way of a Bodhisattva. This way of a Bodhisattva, we have a chapter 10. So we are in the chapter 9. Chapter 9 is a wisdom chapter. Wisdom chapter has many different sections. So Shantideva, he debating with all these Buddhist scholars and non-Buddhist scholars. So this way of Bodhisattva teaching is Maya Minka teaching. So Maya Minka teaching, main point is they don't accept anything exist and non-exist. So free from all the conceptual thoughts. That's why it's Shantideva, he debating for others, but other these scholars objecting or like debating again back to the Shantideva, but he don't accept anything. That's why they cannot beat him or cannot win debating. Shantideva, also Shantideva Nagarjuna, he said, I don't accept anything. Exist, no exist, or either or neither. So that's why whatever the other these scholars debating to Maya Minka, Shantideva, there cannot be win because reality, truly nothing is exist. Nothing is non-exist too. So free from all the conceptual thought. We usually talk about a non-dualistic. So if you really wanted to know what means non-dualistic, then we have to follow this Shantideva's teaching, study. Then you really understand what means non-dualistic, thought means. So now we have our, like mind is a conceptual thoughts, dualistic thoughts. That's why it's harder to accept Shantideva, what he says. We can easily accept other scholars saying. The reason is because we also have that kind thoughts, and that's why we can accept others easy, but harder to accept Shantideva is Maya Minka saying. These other scholars actually really help us release our thoughts, means like wrong thoughts, wrong view, wrong conceptual, release that. They're helping us actually. What they're saying, similar, we have wrong thoughts, wrong view. And they are representing us debating with Shantideva. So because we have a similar, this wrong view and wrong thoughts, due to our, conceptual and dualistic thoughts. So Shantideva, what he giving all answer is harder to understand, harder to accept due to our dualistic thought. But Shantideva, he giving answer is actually, reality, is truth, absolute truth. So then he giving answer and the debating is like depending, followed by two different levels. Sometimes he debating with relative truth, sometimes he debating with absolute truth. So these other scholars, sometimes they don't make sense anything in the relative truth. So Shantideva, he giving answer is relatively say, okay, that is not possible. Even these worldly people don't accept that anything like that. So that is called his wrong view in the relative truth. Then some scholars good in the relative truth, but no make sense in the absolute truth. So then he giving answer is absolute truth. He said that is okay relatively, temporarily, but cannot be reality, cannot be absolute truly, cannot be that way. Otherwise, then he giving so many like okay contradictions, and so if you accept like that way, even like relatively true also cannot be really work very well. Example, cause and the effect is except that someone accept cause and the effect, but they accept cause and the effect is a permanent, then you good because relatively truly you accept cause and effect, but you really do understand how to work cause and effect. It's permanent, doesn't work cause and effect. Must be cause and effect also impermanent, also must be interdependent. Interdependent is actually emptiness. Nothing is really there truly exist. But temporarily it works for relatively because same is delusion, dreaming. It's work for who has delusion, dreaming, but you really investigate, analyze, nothing is true, nothing is existed there. So like that, temporarily, you know, this some relative things works, but absolutely doesn't work for that. No exist. That kind of Shantideva, he giving so many different kind, you know, informations. Uh, so actually, due to his compassion and wisdom, if he don't have enough wisdom because he cannot give this answer to the other schools, if he don't have a compassion, then he don't help them. He really helping them taking into the right path. You know, is taking into the liberation. The debating is not for seeking is a and winner. Shantideva, his debating is helping others liberating. Others' mind is liberating. So if your mind is stuck with exist or no exist something, then your mind cannot liberate. So Shantideva helping others, all these schools, and due to his compassion, and taking to the liberation. He can do that because he has wisdom, he has compassion. So someone has compassion but no wisdom, then they cannot give answers and don't know how to really take to the right path. So someone has wisdom but maybe no compassion, they're not going to debating. They just say, okay, let go. They what they has view, just let that be. You know, I want it to be my liberation. I want to be meditate myself. I want to go in the cave. Or you know, same maybe same is more is ahats. And this during the Buddha time, he has 16 ahats. They are almost like that way. You know, they say, okay, what they want, they just let that be. I am going to liberate. They're going to liberate. So due to they don't have enough compassion, and then that's why this ahats, 16 ahats has realized, but there not much benefit. The same is the 16 scholars in Nalanda University. These 16 Nalanda University scholars, they has realized, they has wisdom with compassion. So that's why they create so many these teachings and helping so many other beings, liberating so many other beings. So you really study all these 16 scholars' teachings, then comes really strong faith and devotion to these scholars, and we really realize their wisdom and compassion, their realization. So without realization, not possible to giving all these answers. So actually Nagarjuna, he started this, this Nagarjuna is the first Buddhist scientist after Buddha. So then his followers, or the Chandrakirti, Shantideva, and all these Mayamika teachers, when you really study these teachings, it comes really strong faith, devotion to these teachers, because we recognize their compassion and their wisdom, and also that we recognize that they have realized already the true nature. Okay, so that's why the debating is not due to the emotions. Debating is the helping for others liberating. So today we are somewhere, which verses? I don't remember.
I think it's 128, isn't it?
Is it correct? It's 128.
Okay, 128, yeah. So 128 is debating with this samkhya. We already talked the samkhya score, what the view is, we already talked last week, and also the debating another already being passed a couple of weeks ago. So the main point, they're accepting two things permanent. Self-consciousness is permanent, and then also this primal substance also permanent. So primal substance is a creator, self-conscious is a user, is actually he is enjoyer, and all the hard work is come from primal substance. So that too is the accept permanent, but actually that not possible. What he says is incorrect. It not only incorrect absolute truth, incorrect in the relative truth. So this primal substance is the talk about these three different qualities. So we already talked about that, three different quality. They're mentioned about up there, three different kind of qualities. Is samkhya scores. They talk about how to say the English is. It is there or no? So, okay, yeah. So it's there, yeah. It's a satava is like say, and satava is means like Sanskrit activity, raja, and darkness. So the main point is the different kind of feeling actually. Negative feeling, positive feeling, and the neutral feeling. So these three comes together, kind of like that. And also the ignorance and hatred and desire. So that three comes together, it's balance. So they don't have to say primal substance. If there says like, oh, this samsaric beings come from these three poisons, then it's okay, relatively okay. They can say that, but giving the name is primal substance. Then they said that is permanent. So that is become incorrect. So here answer is, see, Mayaminka 128. This primal substance you accept cannot be existing because it is impossible for something that is truly partless to truly exist with a threefold nature. So see, this three cannot be in the primal substance permanently exist there. There's a primal substance is permanent, is one, then how can be three? So they already contradicted there. It cannot be accepted. So likewise, the quality cannot truly exist as three. See, these qualities cannot be exist as three because each of them has three aspects. Then each must be have three, you know. So each must be have three means example activity. So activity must have to three another. Activity must have to sattva. Activity must have to have a darkness. So that kind, you know, each one has a three. So then how can be exist? It's not possible because each of them has three aspects. This latter reason is established because you accept that every truly existing manifest phenomena has the nature of the three qualities. Furthermore, so the main point Shantideva said, you already accept three of these is nature of primal substance. Then primal substance cannot be one because it's a three already there. So then each three that has also three different qualities. Each one has three qualities. So then there cannot say three only there. So three times like already 12. See, because three has three, one has three, it goes more. Then there cannot be one permanently exist there. So that means like cause is cannot be one. Then also what the causes create result also cannot be exist because causes not exist. How can be result also exist? Cannot be result there. Furthermore, if the three qualities, the cause did not truly exist. See, this three quality is not exist. The existing of phenomena such as sound that are manifested from them as effect become extremely far-fetched, I think. So anyway, not possible to have result because see, cause is not exist. Then the causes result, sound, taste, or the other object also not possible, cannot be existed. It's not possible. It is not possible for clothing and the like. Tactile, tactile sensations, visual forms, sounds, so to have the same nature of pleasure and so forth, because they have no conscious quality. They are manifestations of the primal substance with its matter. So then all the object also cannot have permanently exist because the object no consciousness. The object no consciousness, then that's also cannot be causes of happiness. So they are manifestation of primal substance, which is matter. Then Samkhya says, again, this is a Samkhya's view. Things such as clothing have the nature of pleasure and so forth, because they truly are of the nature of their cause, namely the quality of pleasure, pain, and equanimity, from which they become manifest. So this Samkhya's goal is there, except really funny way, you know. So see, things such as clothing have the nature of pleasure and so forth. So they said all the pleasure, happy and sad, suffering, this feeling is come from object. The object has permanently, you know, pleasure is exist. Object has pleasure is exist. So Shantideva, his main point is object didn't have pleasure, happiness exist, because reason is here, it's going to give a reason. So see, these things such as clothes have the nature of pleasure and so forth, because they truly are of the nature of their cause. So they said the pleasure, happiness causes its object. Object has that nature. Object can give happy, object can give sadness. Object has truly exist. Happy, pleasure, and suffering, they all exist in the object. Namely, the quality of pleasure, pain, and equanimity from which they become manifest. So this object can give all this pleasure and sad suffering, anything. They have that qualities exist. So Maya Minka said that's not possible. See, but things such as clothing are similar to the body in being composed of parts. And have we not already refuted the true existence of the body with our analysis? So, what means Shantideva here? He says the object is not exist. Same is the body, because he already give answers. Body is not exist. When we talk about the mindful body meditation, the body is not exist. He already give that answer. So body is not exist. The same is like that. Then this phenomena object also not exist truly. Of the body with already analysis. Furthermore, in your tradition, the cause for cloth and so forth is asserted to be the three qualities of pleasure and so forth. So same like that, it's all this phenomena also, object also not exist. That's why, so object cannot has truly happy pleasure and painful suffering, because object is not truly exist. So the main point is they're also saying cause has result. Result is exist in the cause. Furthermore, in your tradition, so Shantideva, in your Samkhya, your tradition, the cause for clothing and so forth is asserted to be the three qualities of pleasure and so forth. So Shantideva, your cause has all these three pleasures. Three pleasures that talk about, activity, raja, and darkness. So that is like pleasure, and pain and equanimity. This kind of feeling is exist already in the object. So that means object has already been in the result is in the object. Shantideva says your tradition cause, cloth, and so forth is asserted to be the three qualities of pleasure and so forth. But how can this be? The Shantideva said this is not possible. Woolen cloth does not arise from pleasure. See, cloth didn't have pleasure. The cloth is like example here is like just object didn't have pleasure and painful and also economic, anything. So woolen cloth does not arise from pleasure. On the contrary, even conventionally, it is seen that. So relatively also, this is not possibly acceptable. Pleasure arises from woolen cloth. Upon analysis, the woolen cloth, the cause, is found to have no true existence, and therefore pleasure, its effect, can also have no true existence. So Shantideva said, your cause cannot be have a result. The reason is like cause is not exist. Then how can have result, happy and sadness in there? So object is no exist. Object didn't have exist the pleasure and painful, feelings there. This part is like one way is very hard to understand, but another way is very simple. That not difficulty, but it's somewhere is maybe you see it's very hard, but it's some other way. It's this way is really easy. Just the main point, like see we say cloth. The cloth has the says like all the pleasure things, happy and or painful. That means like it's actually in the object. But object is no exist, then that Shantideva cannot be have any result in there. First cause is no exist, result also cannot be exist. So pleasure arises from woolen cloth. Moreover, upon analysis, like we use logic, investigate the woolen cloth cause this found to have no true exist. Object is no true exist, and therefore pleasure result is effect also can also have no true exist. Result also cannot be permanently exist. Pleasure and the other feelings can never be validly apprehend as permanent because they are occasional phenomena. So because this feeling is sometimes is there, sometimes not there. So that means the feeling is not permanently exist. This all logic is already being, we talk about mindful feeling meditation. Very similar. And we already talked mindful body meditation. See, mindful body meditation is the same as the cause is not exist. Mindful feeling meditation, same as the result also not exist. So here, main point is the object is not exist. The result feeling also cannot be exist. Object didn't, Shantideva say, object didn't have result. Okay, so no, what this is going to say, if pleasure were always manifestly present, when why is it not also experienced at time when pain is produced? The Shantideva say, if pleasure, happy feeling is always there, then not possible to arise painful feeling. So then Shantideva say, how can produce suffering feeling? Ask question to Samjas. The reason is because positive feeling is permanently exist. Then how can arise negative feeling there? How can produce negative feeling? Because a positive feeling is permanent. Samja say the pain is produced, pleasure is not experienced because it becomes very subtle. So Mayamika, but how can something permanent be sometimes gross and sometimes subtle? So Samja says, yes, pleasure is always there, but sometimes go to pleasure, happiness, feelings, gross level, sometimes go to subtle level. Mayamika said, that is not possible because if pleasure is permanent, then permanent cannot be sometimes like gross level, sometimes it can be subtle level, cannot be changed like that. Here says, how can be that? Not possible that way. Since it is becomes subtle upon ceasing to be gross, this eternally gross and subtle feeling must be impermanent. So then Shantideva says, is your gross level is changed to the subtle level feeling. So that means the feeling is not permanent, it is impermanent. The result is impermanent. Main point, the result is impermanent. So think about this, the primal substance has, there's a primal substance is permanent in the primal substance has all this positive feeling, negative feeling, natural feeling is exist already there. So then Shantideva said, this cannot be exist. These three different feelings permanently exist in the primal substance. Because if the exist there, when the pleasure arises, they must be always pleasure feeling is be there, cannot be changed. If negative feeling is always in there, then always must be negative feeling, cannot be go to the positive feeling. So this score in the primal substance has these three feelings is exist already in there. Shantideva said, no possible. The cause, your cause, primal substance is permanent. How can be there? This positive feeling, negative feeling, natural feeling is exist permanently there. Cannot be, because it's changing. Feeling is changing. That means it's impermanent. Your result also impermanent. For similar reasons, why do you not accept that all manifestations are impermanent? Then why you just don't accept everything is impermanent? It's easy, Shantideva said easy. You don't have to say it's permanent. It cannot be proven that logically. So just say it's impermanent. Then we don't have the debating. Shantideva said impermanent is emptiness, no exist there. Then samjas again, although the various growth and the subtle states of pleasure are impermanent, the nature of pleasure itself is permanent. So that change the view, but that change a little bit, but not really change correctly again. Samja says, see, okay, growth level is permanent, but the nature is always there. It is permanent, never change. So there, some part is change, but sister, that means cause primal substance is permanent, and the result, the pleasure, feeling, happy, sad, this all always change. But that means like this result is changing, cannot change the primal substance. Primal substance is always permanently exist. So that is there accepted. Then Shantideva said, this is not possible, my amica. See, since the gross and the subtle forms of pleasure are nothing other than the pleasure itself. So, see, since the gross and the subtle forms of pleasure are nothing other than pleasure itself, and since they are impermanent, pleasure itself clearly must be impermanent as well. So Shantideva said, okay, so you already accepted. What you accepted, see, subtle level, gross level, what is changing is you say it's impermanent, but then that is the feeling is changing. So then you have to accept, your feeling also impermanent, because it's gross level, subtle level, no other than any other pleasure and sadness. Gross subtle forms of pleasure are not nothing other than pleasure itself. And it says since they are impermanent, then pleasure itself clearly must be impermanent as well. You accept that something cannot be produced from nothing because it does not exist in the nothingness, just as oil can never come from sand. So the main point here, see, this feeling also become impermanent. So Shantideva said, you must accept impermanent as well. Then you accept that something cannot be produced from nothing because it does not exist in the nothingness, just as oil can never from the never come from the sand. That's why you do not accept the production of manifest entity that were previously non-existent. You do claim that manifest entity must abide at the time of their cause, because although at that previous time they are in unmanifest state, later at the time of the effect they arise in a manifest form. But if the effect abide in the cause to eat food would be its extreme end. You should purchase and wear cotton seeds and the money you pay for clothing. So this is then going to become more debating. So what is going to happening here is, see, Samjas say, you accept that something cannot be produced from nothing. Samjas this Gore's view is like, if nothing is there, cannot produce. So the result is must be in the cause. Result is must be in the cause. Otherwise, they cannot produce that result. See, because it does not exist in the nothingness, just as oil can never come from sand. Sand didn't have oil, so sand cannot produce oil. Because the sand didn't have oil is exist in the sand, right? So like that, Samjas main point is they said cause must have the result exist in there. Cause must have the result. If cause didn't have a result, then cause cannot produce result. Same is like, see, example is the sand cannot produce the oil. So that's why you do not accept the production of manifest entities that were previously non-existent. You do claim that manifest entities must abide at the time of their cause. So this Samjas result is must be in the cause. Because although at the previous time they are in a manifest state, actually already result is already in the cause, but we didn't see that. We didn't see the result. Result is already in the cause. So there, the main point is the example is like in the darkness house has many objects. Until the light comes, you cannot see the object. Same like that. Until actually object cause has all the result already, but we cannot see that until manifested. It's actually cause has already result is already in there, but we cannot see that until manifestation arise. So the main point, this is Samkhya says, the primal substance has everything already in there, but we don't see, because until manifestation, result is arising. Until that we don't see. So that is their view. Later at the time of the effect they arise. Then later, effect time of the effect they arise in a manifest form. So then you can see, same is in the darkness house has a lot of object, but then one day you show the candle light or butter lamp or lights, then you can see all the object. So like that, in the primal substance has all this object already in there, but we don't see that at the time of the effect, then they arise a manifest form. But if the effect abide in the cause, so that means result is in the cause. So then Shantideva say, okay, so that is really wrong. Wrong is to eat food would be to eat excrement. So when you eat food, then you eat excrement together, because Food is the cause, excrement is the result. So food have already excrement in there. So then when you eat food, you're eating the excrement. And you should purchase and wear cotton seeds with the money you pay for clothing. So when you buy clothing, you don't have to buy clothes. You just buy the cotton seeds because result is already in there. So you wear the cotton seeds, then it's cloth already there. Then you don't have to buy clothes. You just buy cotton seeds, pay for clothing. So Maya means samja. All those things do exist in this way. They say yes, cause has already result is exist. The confused people of the world did not wear cotton seeds because they cannot see cloth in them. So the samja says actually the cotton seed has cloth already. Food, that means actually food has already excrement already there, excrement. But these worldly people don't see that, they don't recognize that. This is a samja's view, because the reason is that these worldly people is confused the people of the world. That's why they do not wear cotton seeds. They cannot wear cotton seeds because they cannot see cloth in them. So that's the samja's answer. Then Maya Minka, but even Kapila means Kapila is he is the founder of this Samkhya's religion. He is the founder of the religion, Kapila. The founder of your tradition, whom you accept as knower of truth. So Maya Minka say your religion founder, you accept he has knowledge, he knows all the truth. So wear clothing and not cartoon seeds. Then why he knows truth? Okay, these worldly people are confused. It's okay, but your religion founder, he knows everything. So why he don't buy cartoon seeds when he going to buy clothes? Because he knows, your religion founder knows he is not a confused person. So then why he don't wear the cartoon seeds? Uh, wear clothing and not cartoon seeds. Why he don't wear the cartoon seeds? Why he wear the cloth? He shouldn't wear cloth because he has knowledge. He know the truth. He see the seed has already result is in there. He don't need to buy result cloth. He should wear cartoon seeds. Thus, this must have been true for him as well. So then we can see that is a truth. But he didn't wear cartoon seeds. He wear cloth. That means his saying, his action drawing is contradict, not truth. So Maya Minka just against his religion founders saying and his action is against, like contradict the Maya Minka, this Shantideva approving that for them as well. Furthermore, because in your tradition, knower of truth means like this Kapila, the effect would exist in a worldly person. The cause why do worldly people not see cloth in cartoon seeds? It is follows that they should. Then also a knower of truth, effect word. So he knows everything. Your religion founder, he knows everything. He should say correctly what worldly people see things. So followed by relative truly, exist in a worldly person. See, we worldly people, we see exist what is existed. We see the object, person, the cause. Why do worldly people not see cloth in cartoon seeds? Why then worldly people don't see if the seed, cartoon seed it has already cloth in there? Then why worldly people don't see that? because your religious founder, truth knower, he have to share correctly worldly people what see things. It follows that they should. Then Samkhya says, indeed, a knower of truth does exist in its cause. So Samkhya says yes. His religious founder and Kapila, he is a truth knower. He knows cause has result is exist in this cause. A worldly person, but its time of being a cause, all the states of mind of worldly people are invalid. Therefore, they did not understand that clothing exists in the cartoon seeds. So these worldly people, he said, no important. So his religious founder, teacher, he see things, that worldly people cannot see that. Mind of worldly people are invalid, means like not really worldly people seeing is truth, correct. Therefore, they do not understand, these worldly people don't understand that clothing exists in the cartoon seeds. So this is actually Shantideva also sometimes similar. He said that worldly people don't know what truly think, absolute truth. So worldly people is invalidated. Worldly people seeing is invalidated. That's also sometimes Shantideva said that too. But similarly, in this group says, what their teacher knowing, this worldly people don't know. That this Samkhya the religious founder teacher, he knows cloth has already, the seeds, cartoon seeds has already cloth there. That means like cause has already result. He see that, but worldly people don't know. Worldly people seeing is invalid. Therefore, do not understand that clothing exists in the cartoon seeds. So then my Yaminka, he going to giving answer is, in that case, even the effects such as food, clothing, knowers of truth, that they clearly see worldly people untrue, because their true would be object of a deceived mind. So Shantideva says, in the case, even the effects such as food and clothing, knowers of truth, that they clearly see would be untrue. So Shantideva said, no, I understand whatever says your religious founder, he says is clearly not true in the relative truth. So main point is here is they are debating in the relative truth. So going to absolute truth, then of course these worldly people are invalid, right? That's also Shantideva accepted. But you're talking about in the relative truth, this worldly people, what we see, that you have to accept. If you don't accept, then you are, because not possible to become winner in the debate. So we see fire is fire, water is water. So someone cannot say, oh, this is no fire. Someone cannot say this is a water, because we see that. So that is, for us, is valued truth. So Shantideva here, he debating with relatively truly. See, worldly people don't see that. That's why, and whatever your teacher says is cannot be proven clearly in the relatively not acceptable. Because that true would be object of deceived mind. See, relatively we cannot accept whatever you say. Samkhya. If according to you, my Yamikas, so no, Samkhya say, okay, then whatever you says, rejecting my views, same is you have a problem too. Samkhya going to say, showing problem for Shantideva. If according to you, my Yamika, even valued cognitions are not valued. You also didn't have valued. The deceive wouldn't the emptiness they understand also be false. It must be therefore meditation upon the atomic truth of emptiness is surely incorrect. So now this is a really good debating. You know, this is a more reasonable. They're really good debating. They're told Mayaminka. See, so even valued cognitions are not valued means like, okay, you don't have valued cognitions. So deceive wouldn't the emptiness. See, this all the relativists, you say emptiness, they understand also be first. Then you say relative is first, is emptiness. It must be, therefore, then meditation upon the atomic truth of emptiness also surely incorrect. Because you don't have, you know, valid cognition to approving, you know, emptiness. Because valid cognition, it is also not exist. Then how you can approving emptiness. So that's very good debating. You know, the debating to Mayaminka. Then Mayaminka says, without cogniting, apprehending. So then this section coming is like until this going to finish or this chapter is very, very important sections. So you really understanding emptiness, meaning what means emptiness. And also you really know the emptiness is a result. We understanding this, you know, all this wisdom chapter, then you know the result is what you get, kind of like benefit. It's all Shantideva going to share. It's a very important section. So without cogniting, without contracting, I think, contracting, apprehending,
Contacting.
Contacting. Thank you. Without contacting, apprehending the true existence which the mind has imported, one will not apprehend its known true existence, its emptiness. So, see, without contracting, apprehending, then the true existence which the mind is imported, one will not apprehend its known true existence, its emptiness. So first we use this object, you know, this with this existing object, this temporary existing object. We use this object, say, or this object is not exist. So then you can get emptiness. So example, like say, first I have a birth, right? I have birth. So then I say, okay, you have death. So if I don't use I have a birth, the cannot say you have a death. You know, so first we don't say in using this, you know, object exists, like temporarily exist object, we cannot approve an emptiness. See, that's why existing is emptiness. In the same way, without having thought of the son of a bearing woman, one cannot consider his death. So actually, bearing woman's son is really didn't birth, but he didn't have a death, right? Free from birth, free from death. But that is reality, you know, truth. But someone has a delusion. So see, without having thought of the son of a barren woman, without like you don't have a son, it's a birth, one cannot consider his death, right? So in this all these relative things, first say we have relative truly exist, then absolutely no exist. If we don't say like that way, cannot share the emptiness for others. This logic is really, really good, but I don't know you really receiving, understanding. But we have you read more carefully, I think, understand it. It's harder to explain. It's so short information. This root text. I follow by these commentaries. I get perfectly makes sense for me. But also when I share the root text, it's a little bit harder. So then you have to think about it. See here, it's Shantideva. He's saying this word is follow the logically, but it's really good to understand. I mean, very profound. One cannot consider his death. So, and because no true existence is dependent upon true existence. So this really going to proving is no existence also no truth. See, we don't have like, see, barren woman's son is birth, then they don't have a death, right? So you recognize like barren woman didn't birth the son, then you don't know, you really realize that they don't have death. Same like that, no this all these things no exist, no birth. Beginningless time is emptiness. Okay, so already being emptiness is like unbeginningless time. Nature is emptiness, never have truly exist. And then they're not going to non exist too. They don't have a non exist, cannot be related to each other, So have a birth and a death, dependent. Like you have a right, you have a left. But right is never truly exist. How you can have left? Left is like your thought is because you have thinking about right, then you can receive okay left. So you think about like you see, you if you have a thought about barren woman's son is birth, then you have death. Even you never ever think about the barren woman's son is birth, you don't have death. So like that, these things are truly never ever exist. Then how can be have no exist there? Emptiness also not truly there. First is something there, it's then that goes where it's empty. If something is never ever there, how can be empty? So you never build the house, how can be house is empty? If you have a dreaming, in the dream you build the house, in the dream you see that your house is empty. Okay, right? So then when you wake up, you never build the house, how can be your house is empty? Empty also not exist. First house is not exist, how can be empty is exist there? So that's why emptiness also not exist. Make sense or no? So we never build the house on beginningless time until no, how can be your house is going to empty? Okay. Then you say, oh, I built the house. This is your delusion. When you wake up, that house is never built. In your delusion, you build the house, you can have, like you see, oh, my house is empty. So that is the same, it's like you have a, thought is like barren woman, birth the child, is then child is dead. They have a, birth and death. But actually, Barren woman never born the son, never dead the son. How can have birth exist things? How can have emptiness there? You know, emptiness also not exist. That is my Yamika view. And so this I mean, this example is really great. Without having thoughts of the son of a barren woman, one cannot consider his death. So, and because no true existence is dependent upon true existence, no true existence is dependent upon true existence is no exist, then how can have no true existence? See, birth is dependent for death. Birth is no exist, how can have death? Your house is empty. Empty is dependent. The house is never being bird. You never create your house. How can be your house is emptiness? The house is never existed. The how can be have empty? Your house is empty. Think about that way. The no true existence that is a negation of the first existence. Also, it's clearly first. Negation of the first existing also is clearly first. Then truly existing also no exist. Then non true existing also first, no be there. Because barren woman's child is never born, then death also no exist. Death also cannot approving. The clearly first, it has no truly dependent existence. Nevertheless, it is quite valued to meditation on emptiness because it is the remedy that eliminates the apprehension of true existence. For example, so emptiness meditation is temporarily, Shantideva say, correct. You say, oh, these things not exist. I am not exist. I self is not exist. You meditate empty like that is Shantideva says is temporarily correct. Emptiness because it's that remedy that eliminates the apprehension of true existence. Because we have so strong fixation exist all these things. So you meditate emptiness like become helps you release like less fixations. That helps. But then one day you truly realize things no exist, then no exist also no exist. Okay, so think about water is become frozen in the ice. So you recognize, water is like frozen in the ice. You know, like water frozen ice. Ice is like, incorrect. You use like try to something using, ice blocks and try to merge to the water and become you really knows water also not exist. Then whatever you try to ice is merged in the water also that apply also not exist. Everything is not exist. See, we have anger, so we have to meditate the love and the compassion because we try to release and reduce our anger and the emotions. One day you realize anger itself is emptiness. Anger is truly never exist. Then you apply antidote love compassion also not exist there. Antidote also not exist. Make sense or no? So this really give you understanding the Buddhist view. Is we talking about non-conceptual. We're talking about non-draw. So if you don't understand this part, then we go back to sadhana, prayers, practice, whatever that says, like no drula state, arise from emptiness, everything is dependent, whatever says, like just you don't really intellectually understand. Make sense or no? Do you understand? So that's why this coming section is a very important section. Then he said, for example, when his child dies in a dream, the dream is a thought of the child is non-existence because the thoughts of a child is existing to cease. See, but although the thoughts of his non-existing is first, it still has the ability to abandon the thoughts of his existence. So this is like Shantideva said, we have to meditate. Emptiness helps us. If you are in the you have a dream, in the dream you dead your son, and then you in the dream you meditate yourself is that your son is not exist. That helps in the dream your reduce your suffering, and the helps like remove the death, the dream in the death son is in the dream. That kind of fixation in the dream, we have a strong very fixation. That kind of feeling is removing. Is using the apply son is not exist. Which his child dies in a dream. The dreamer's thought of the child is non-existent. See, dreaming himself child is non-existent because the thought of the child is existing to cease. The reduce his suffering. He really going to recognize, approving reality. Then if he wake up, then 100% he knows he didn't have a birth son, that they know death there. So in the dream, he birth son, that son is dead. So then this dreamer, he meditate emptiness in the dream that really help for the person reduce his fixation. So that's why Shantideva said, right now we have very strong dreaming in this delusion is so strong. So you apply antidote, emptiness meditation really helps you going to reduce attachment, desire, fixations, remove our this strong fixation to the world is removing. So then slowly you really see, so everything is kind of a TV show, and everything is like you really know, like kind of a dreaming is not really truly existing. Then someone telling you really hard and harsh words, so you don't really accepting anything because that words not much effective to you. That means become yogi and yoginis. Where is yoginis? The qualities come from because practice meditate emptiness. So you know it's not true existence. Then someone telling you harsh words, you're really not going to accepting that words. Then that words not going to harm to you, right? You don't accepting, you don't rejecting, because you know it is not true, not exist. So then we are in the samsara, we are less suffering, less desire, but we are in the samsara, we can use all the samsaric joy, pleasures, happiness, but not really this, joy, pleasure things create attachment, and this something problems, difficulties cannot create suffering. That means then the person is called yoginis, who meditate emptiness. so helps them. Okay, so then, but although the thoughts of his non-existing is first, see, it's non-existing, like he meditated in the dream, is his son is not exist. He meditated that also actually first. It still has the ability to abandon the thoughts of his existence. That helps his son is birth in the dream, and that death, that existing thoughts really help that, because they remove that kind of the fixation emotions. Okay, so summary. The main point is always like going to summary means like it's giving the essence of this the teaching. So it's here is like going to talk about the more 1 minute. Okay, so this is like coin the summary is all this logic is Shantideva. He starting from all the way beginning to until here is this wisdom chapter. So this is a main point summary here, going to giving main point summary. Therefore, when such an analysis is made with these reasonings, no impermanent thing is found to exist with no cause, and no individual cause or condition or any example of conditions is found to have existing from the very beginning. So it's the when such as analysis is made with this reasoning, so he used many different reasonings, logic, no impermanent thing is found to exist with no cause. So this is he just going to like with the reasoning, see, no impermanent thing is found to exist. We didn't find anything like no impermanent, so nothing is impermanent. No permanent thing is found to exist with no cause. Like some these scholars say no cause. They don't accept previous life, future life. Then where is this come from? They say just naturally arise. So they give like examples like sun is shining, it's go to sunset. No one pushing the sun, no one create. That is just comes naturally, comes goes. And like that, he gives many examples. They say no cause. Then Shantideva say to exist with no cause and no individual cause means no individual cause means like not birth is the whatever this exists things no come from no cause. Everything has causes conditions. Okay, so none is like just naturally comes without cause. Then also and no individual cause means the birth is not itself. Birth is not itself. No comes from like birth is permanently itself. The birth is come from so many causes and conditions, not come from it itself. So this samjas says, see, its birth is itself, because it's come from everything is there has already in the cause has already, result is already in there. So cause just when effect is arising, cause has already. So that means it's no individual cause or condition in any example of conditions. So then birth is not come from others. So no others means not permanently others. Something is permanently exist, they cannot birth others. Cannot take exist to create others. Then if it is found to have existing from the very beginning. So this is like here is her talking about 4 different logically not permanently birth. Birth is not cause. Without cause, no birth, right? Without cause, no birth. The birth is not come from itself. Birth is not come from permanently others. Birth is not come from either other and self, not either, no neither. So that is the Shantideva here give it very, very summary, just short information. This section is more explained in the middleway part, the Chandakriti, his book has this very detailed and debating each these scores. Who talk about no cause? Who talk about self is birth is self? Who talk about birth is other? Who talk about birth is neither? And birth is either. So they have all these different kind of philosopher scores. So Chandrakirti, he debating with all these different kind of scores in his middleway path. So Shantideva, he just give is like very short summary information. This logic is also actually proving the birth is no exist. Birth is cannot be without a cause. Birth is cannot be itself. Birth is cannot be others. Birth is cannot be either and neither. So from the everything beginning, the reason is like, see, condition of any example of a condition is found to have existed from the very beginning. These things is like beginningless time is not exist. That's why no birth. Then this all whatever that says birth is come from without a cause, it's come from itself, it is causes for other. Whatever that says is not truly exist. Truth, it's not correct. It is incorrect. Since true existing phenomena did not come new from somewhere or something else. If the the result is truly existing in the cause phenomena, then did not come new from somewhere or something else. You don't need a birth, then you don't have to create anything already there. If sense is truly existing phenomena, then do not come new from somewhere or something else. You don't need to birth. You don't need to create, already there. So in the beginning, they are not produced. In the middle, they do not remain. So actually, Shantideva says, the all things no exist on beginningless time. Everything's emptiness never has existed things. All the phenomena is not truly exist. In the beginning, they are not produced because of no birth. In the middle, they do not remain, remain. If you don't have a birth, they don't have like remain. And in the end, they do not go elsewhere, upon cessation. Then no death there. See, barren woman didn't have a birth, child is birth, the bearing woman child never lies, bearing woman's child never die. So that means these things are beginningless, already emptiness, never truly existing, no birth, no ceasing, and no unceasing, no unceasing in the cessation. Okay. They are all these things which under analysis are not established, although they are apprehended as true by confused minds. So whatever we think is exists is confused minds, not different from illusions. That all is same is delusion, not much difference. Everything is the same is delusion and dreaming. Nothing is different from that. They appear to be truly existing, whereas in fact they are not. So they appear to be truly existing for us, whereas in fact they are not. Actually, not really exist. They're not truly be there, or is emptiness. So establishing that phenomena conventional arise from causes. So the main point in this section is going to talk about everything is interdependent. So that's why all is emptiness, Shantideva. Going to use logic is interdependent, then approving everything is not existed. Whatever horses and elephants have been made manifest through magicians, illusion, and whatever visual forms and so forth have been made manifest by cause and conditions should be examined as to where they first come from, where they abide in the meantime, and where they go to the end. Upon examination, they will be found to be similar in not truly coming and going. So, see, the who can create this, illusion, magicians, who can create illusion. So whatever they create, the object form, you use the examine, investigate how to recreate, where it comes from, where it is goes. Really use logic, investigate. It's all this he create many different conditions, then this illusion is arising. But you examine, investigate, nothing is proving anything truly existed. You cannot find where it comes from, where it is ceases, where it goes. So same is like see movie, we create movie, TV shows. So all this economic or this object comes together, create movie, TV shows. But then you really analyze these things, where it really come from. You cannot find anything that exists permanently. That you cannot find where it come from, where it goes, where it be there. It's or it's just not exist, or it's emptiness. So that is the. So you can analyze all things like that. We can see here together, because we have so many causes, contradictions can be, we can see together. Then which is really approving, which is a contradiction, we can see. How can we talk? So it's investigate, analyze, cannot prove anything. It's the same as always a dreaming, it's illusion. So then all is become emptiness, nothing is existed there. In fact, will only be seen because if it's being closely connected with a cause, but without that cause, it will not be seen. See, we can meet in the zone together. So who has all these connections together, we can meet together, we can see each other. But so many other people has so many these all connections, but it's not too close. Not everything is completely connections, cannot seeing. So like that, all this, phenomena is arising, where this condition, everything is perfectly correct, it's all phenomena is arising, but its condition is not there, cause condition is not there, so cannot arising. Same is the like you can see your mirror. When you are close to your mirror, in our camera, we can see each other. You are go very far away, we cannot see you, right? So like that, since it is a product of causes and conditions, it is similar to a reflection in a mirror. So how can it have truly dependent existence? See, not dependent existence. Everything is independently, dependent each other. Nothing is independent exist. So now you really understand, see, the Buddhist view is everything is interdependent. Interdependent is not exist. Just all is the same. It's like right now what we're seeing is a delusion. Same is dreaming. So here is a C, establishing emptiness of true existence from the point of view of the effect. So now, what would be the need of a cause for a thing that truly existed? So here is like also the use logic, investigate the cause. What would be the need of a cause if result is already in the cause? Then for a thing that truly exists, what would be the need of a cause? The cause is not needed. Result is already there. So now this also Shantideva very strong message to this samjas. Samjas says result is in the cause. Then Shantideva says, then your cause is no need because result is already there. You don't need mother because the son is already there. Child is already there. Why is it the mother? Okay. What would be need of a cause for a thing that truly existed already there? Result is already truly existed there. If it truly existed, it would already exist. What would be the need? See, you don't need cause because result is truly exist. What would already exist? The result is already truly exist. And what would be the need? The cause is no need. If a cause for it, if it didn't exist at all, if a cause for it, if it didn't exist at all, if it didn't exist, it would not be the effect of anything. So then this message is to the also other schools. So other schools say many others says like result is not exist. Cause is there, right? Cause, the result is not exist. So then Shantideva say, okay, if a cause for it, if it didn't exist at all, if it didn't exist, it would not be effect of anything. So if the cause is not there, right? Cause for it, if it didn't exist at all, if cause is not exist, then if never ever affected for anything, cannot be create any result because causes no exist. So that message is true, like someone said no cause. Everything's arising naturally, no cause. Without cause, how can you have all this effect? No cause, no possible. And also this means another way, the cause is there, result is not exist. Cause cannot create without no exist result. Then what is that cause? So same is like barren woman's son, like the son is never exist. Then why barren woman is the mother of barren's son? Right? Do you understand what I mean? See, the son is never exist, child is never exist. Then how can you say that is mother of a child? Because child is never exist, how can be is mother is exist there? So if a cause for it, if it didn't exist at all, see, mother is like cannot be, child is never the day, how can be mother? If it didn't exist, it would not be the effect of anything. Objection, although a cause cannot make a non-existing arise into a known thing, it can change it into a thing. Although a cause cannot make a non-existing arise, so that says, okay, cause cannot make a non-existing arise into a known thing, but that's a cause cannot make result is not exist. But it can change into a thing. Cause can change the things. So the Shantideva's reply, this is illogical. Even by means of 100 million causes are known things cannot be transformed into anything else because it is permanent. So others say objection is okay if this person didn't accept the cause is permanent. Okay, this is a samjas like this, primal substance is permanent. That if they don't accept primal substance is permanent, it is impermanent, then you say, or it's come from cause condition impermanent, it's okay. But so Shantideva said, no possible. Even see, by means of 100 million causes of known thing cannot be transformed into anything else because it is a permanent. The 100 million, causes condition comes together cannot create anything because it is a permanent. So permanent is useless, cannot create anything. If it were able to change, it would to do so either while retaining its known thingness or thoughts, discarding it. So it would have to do whether while can change its known things, then become it's become changed. If change, but you cannot change because you say it exists already there, it's permanent, cannot do anything. If it were able to change, it would have to do so. If it can change to do so, but cannot change is whether while retaining its known thingness or through discarding it. In the former instance, how could it become a thing as long as its condition remain inseparated from being a known thing? And in the second instance, what is there that could first separate itself from the state of a known thing and then produce to become a thing, this is impossibility. So there's a lot of logic in there. It's harder to understand, right? Or are you okay? Okay, so David is he's okay. Good. But here main point is, if the change, but then that means like its cause is like not like whatever that things is permanent because it's already changed. It's you cannot say exist. It's become not exist. You cannot say it's permanent. It's become impermanent. If it cannot change, then you cannot say it is can affected by the cause. Cause can change. You cannot say caused by change because cannot already exist things cause cannot change. If something cause can change, then it cannot be permanent. It is impermanent. It's already changed. It can be emptiness. So if it's already truly existed there, then thousands, hundreds causes arise cannot change anything because it truly exists, permanent, cannot change anything. Then cause cannot affect anything. So if cause can affect it, cause can change, that means that is not truly exist. It is impermanent. That is so that's why I say first separate it itself from the state of known thing and then produce proceed to become a thing. This is an impossibility. If the permanent thing cannot change, cannot do anything, so useless. So main point is that. So next, we're going to do this only this verses 147. Then we're going to finish it today. Furthermore, if the condition of a known thing is not discarded, it will be impossible for a thing to exist at the same time. So furthermore, see, if the condition of a known thing is not discarded, known thing is we cannot be accepted. It will be impossible for a thing to exist at the same time. So things we cannot accept exist things because all things is not exist, and then we cannot accept exist things. In which case, when could a thing ever come to exist? Is the existed thing is never come, truly exist. Also, a further consideration should be made in the cause of a known thing becoming a thing upon having first discarded the condition of a known thing. Without actually becoming a thing, a known thing cannot be separate from the state of a known thing, and if it has not become separate from these states, this goes together, it is impossible for the state of existing thing to arise. Similarly, a truly existing thing does not become a known thing upon cessation because it would obscurely follow that something with one nature would become twofold, both a thing and a nothing, known thing. So these two is actually goes together. These two verses is 47 and 48. So these two logic is very subtle logic and very important. These two sections, these two logic is very important. If you really understand these two logic, then we understand emptiness. What means emptiness? No nothingness. So see, is this two is talking about exist, emptiness is dependent each other. So emptiness no exist, then exist also cannot be exist. Exist is no true, then empty also not true. Because these two is dependent each other. So that's why it's we cannot approve when exist, and then you cannot approve when emptiness, empty, nothingness, cannot prove nothing. If you cannot approve when empty nothingness, you cannot prove exist and exist things. So the main point is exist things, dependent is non-existing. Non-existing is dependent existing. But actually, all things truly unbeginningless is like how to say no exist. Then cannot be proven non-exist true. So something we say exist, then dependent non-exist is there. Same is like birth and death. So you cannot approve birth, then you cannot approve death. So death cannot approve, then cannot approve birth too, because it's both are dependent each other, right? So long as you have a birth, then you have a death. Long as you have a death, you have a birth. So these two verses is follow this, kind of like logic informations. And today, just until evening, we're going to discussion again. So you have to read this just more important, become from, today is starting from the, is the verses like 39, verses 39 to in this verses 48, this between. So you also read again and again. If you have a commentary, you just check the commentary, and then we can do more discussion in the evening. Okay, so we can leave it there today. Emaho, in the center is Mavalos Buddha, Amitabha, boundless light. On the right side is the Lord of great compassion, and on the left is Vajrapane, the Lord of powerful means. All surrounded by limitless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, immeasurable peace and happiness is the blissful feeling of Devachi. When I and all beings pass from samsara, may we be born without taking samsara rebirth. May I have the blessing of meeting Amitabha face to face, by the power of blessing of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. May we attain this aspiration without hindrance, Tiyata Pinzandaya, our modern Aya Soha. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where this unborn may arise, where this born may not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. By this virtue may I achieve omniscience, by defeating all enemies of confusion. May all who traverse on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, cross ocean of samsara, as Manjushri Rivero realize ultimate state as the Samanta Bada, I will follow in the path and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings. May the teaching of Great Digompa Shiri, whose nation, Lord of Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue to increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation, and end of samsara. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
So,
so
anyone
much.
has a question or no?
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Khenpo.
Everyone has a question or no? Anyone?
Save for later for me.
I don't
Okay.
know.
After
Oh, no need a question. What do you think? Anyone just say like your view is like how hard this section or no?
Khenpo,
Yes.
I have a question when you say that in reality, from the beginning, there's no beginning, and from the end, there's no result. Is it in absolute level or is it in relative level?
That is a both level.
So from the beginning, we never exist, and the end, we never end. That's in both levels.
Yes.
So who am I here?
So it's your
That's a
delusion
good
state.
question.
That is your delusion state. Like
So
not
Khenpo,
the,
so I don't exist. It's delusion. So the delusion exists, isn't it?
delusion. If you don't exist, how you can your delusion exist?
But how can you say that it's my delusion if my delusion is not exist?
Because first you not exist, then your no delusion is not exist too.
Camera, you are being evasive. It's not because logically you say that I'm delusional and I don't exist. So who am I here? You say it's delusion. So I say, so does delusion exist? Then you say delusion doesn't exist. So who am I here still?
Because as long as the delusion is exist, the laming is exist. Your delusion is not exist. The laming also not exist.
So who is speaking to Khenpo? Who is the Khenpo, goddamn?
Nobody.
It's a delusion state. We have a Khenpo have a name, but it's actually Khenpo is not the person is not exist. Who is a Khenpo?
So that not exist. Actually, you are saying is relative level and absolute level. Both are not exist.
Yeah, actually, the Mayaminka is no Shantideva. See, his logic is like relative. It is relative is nirvana. Nirvana is I mean the samsara is nirvana. Nirvana is samsara. There's no separate. If you don't recognize it's a samsara, when you recognize it's nirvana means. If we don't recognize we are delusion, we are recognize is the nirvana is no true existing. No separate.
So are you saying that all my sadness and all my sorrow and all my fear are illusional?
Pretty much.
Yes.
When I feel suffering, I really feel suffering. Khenpo, it's not delusional. It's not illusional. It's true.
It's true. Are you sure?
Yeah. It's very
You sure? Okay, you Laming, please show me is that suffering.
well, it's related to my mind, so I cannot show you
See,
your
that is
mind.
like you just only remember, that means like no exist because it's already gone, it's empty. No
Well,
exist.
Well,
If that permanently exists, then that suffering is always there. Not only Laming can receive that, everyone have to see that.
well, that's what that's why I asked, is it relative or is it absolute? If relatively it exists, but it passed, but absolutely maybe it's not exist because it passed. If it passed, that means it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
But where-
that's okay. See, that's Laming is way that is the first step thinking about. Means like create true truth. We think, oh, I exist in relatively truly, I'm not exist absolute truly. That is like one method to sharing the teaching. But you really understanding absolute truly, they don't have truth, relative truth exist. So one day you wake up, so you really see that your dream is no exist.
And so about the Dharma.
Okay, thank you. I have to think about it.
Think
Khenpo.
about you know, like you think when you have a dream, you have a suffering. So like in the dreaming, someone come to you said, "No, Lamin, this is your dream. This is a suffering. It's no exist." You say, "No, it exists because I have this already experience. I recognize." So you give answer that we are debating in the dreaming. So then when you wake up, so you recognize, oh, last night in the dream, I'm debating that. But actually, the person says it's true. I didn't get suffering, but it's all my dreaming. So you recognize like that.
Okay.
No, it's like you can share like your kind of thought view. Like we can, anyone wanted to share like emptiness. What do you think?
Khenpo, so about the Dharma, do you also consider the Dharma to be a delusion?
Dharma is a delusion, yes, of course. Why? If you never sick, then your medicine is like delusion, right? When you in the dream, you eating medicines, you recovering. When you wake up, you never say why you need medicine.
Khenpo, we have a phrase, two phrases in English. It is what it is. And sometimes we also say, it was real, it's been real. If anybody ever says that again, I'm going to say Shantideva disagrees. Read chapter 9.
Okay, so that's a say Maria example in the you say in the dream. So you get medicine in the dream, so that medicine recover you, helps you, but then you know that is true for you. But when you wake up, that medicine is no exist, right? So like that, when you wake up, then Dharma also no exist.
Great.
Because you never get suffering. Why you need Dharma there?
Hey,
All right, I have a question. If nothing truly exists, how does the Bodhisattva progress to the different levels?
Because it's relatively all the dreaming, you know, level we create different levels. In the everyone has a strong dreaming. Then some people less dreaming, less suffering. That is called Bodhisattvas. They recognize, oh, this is a dream, so and the dream not much effective for them. That is called levels of the personal dreaming. That is called Bodhisattva.
Okay, so the removal of the obscurations in that process helps you progress along the Bodhisattva's path, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Khenpo.
Yes.
I don't know, there's some echo here. Thank you for the teaching, because I was reading Gampopa life when Milarepa said to him, when they met each other, he sent Gampopa to meditate and no conception, don't attach to anything. And Gampopa came back to him thinking and dreaming and everything. And he said, go back again Don't attach to anything. No conception. And it was hard to me to understand that, but now with you teaching, he was giving him, like you said, peace instruction, no attached to anything. Just continue meditate until you realize you clear mind. Very interesting, but it's beyond all thoughts.
Mm.
It's beyond to speak. We had to experience that. But thank you for that. It helped to understand that instruction that Milarepa gives to Gampopa,
Mm.
not to attach anything.
Right.
But it's difficult to understand it from the logic, you know, in
Yes.
the reference to.
Yeah, so this section is Shantideva tomorrow. He's going to explain because how we are fortunate is can like talk about the discussion, this emptiness. So we create a self. It's so strong. It's like many hundred lifetimes, hundred lifetimes. We never ever hear the impermanent and emptiness. So this like hearing this emptiness teaching is a whole fortunate. See Shantideva, he going to tell tomorrow, So that
Yes.
is like we're great. We have an opportunity to study this way of Bodhisattva.
Yes.
So way of Bodhisattva is actually you see all the essence of Buddha's path, and then other just practice mostly is see you can recognize it's different method you can use, but they have some part of like different small branches method different kind, but the Buddhist like main path is way of Bodhisattva,
Yes.
you really can understanding. Then
Yeah.
of course they have something different kind of path and the method you can use, but you really know what means Buddhist, like how to like standing or follow the teaching essence. The view is if you study way of Bodhisattva, that's really help you.
Okay.
Okay.
It's helping you to avoid suffering and go beyond
Yes.
that. I remember when we give food to the homeless, it was very difficult because you're suffering, because they are suffering. But when they explain to us this, and you can see that everything is emptiness, then you start to stop to suffering, because who is suffering really? They are not suffering, we are not suffering. And if we can understand that, then you can manage that. But at the beginning, it was very difficult to give food to the homeless because you start to suffering because you see them suffering. But when you understand they are empty, you are empty, then you can go beyond that. I just want to share that experience that happened to me. It was very helpful when they give us the instruction on emptiness to handle that type of situation.
Okay.
Thank you, Tekapo.
Thank you, everyone. See you evening. Bye. Have a good day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.